looking for a natural hair detangler, then you are in for a treat today. Whenever I started my natural hair journey, tangles were a big problem for me. One of the things that is so frustrating is that you can spend a lot of time on your hair regimen, you can spend a lot of energy doing protective styles and do a lot just to grow your hair out and be super confident, and one night or one day of really bad tangles can have you ready to cut all your hair off and give up. I know because that's exactly what happened to me. My hair was so tangled, I thought the only way I could do something about it was to start over by cutting all my hair off. And thankfully, Anthony encouraged me and kept me from getting scissor happy that day. But I know that you may be out there struggling with that same thing. And still today, whenever my hair starts to get tangled, I remember that time. But now I have tricks in my bag to make sure that I don't get that desperate anymore. So what I want to do today is encourage you that if you run up against tangles, remember, it's not the end of the day and you don't have to cut off all your hair in order to get over those tangles. But there are a few key things that you do want to do. And if I had known these things, I would have never been sitting there crying and all frustrated and having a really bad day. So the first thing you want to do is you want to start with a really great cleanser, a gentle cleanser or a deep cleanser, depending on what you're doing that day in your regimen. And you just want to make sure your hair is clean. There's nothing to that. The next thing you want to do is you want to add some slip and moisturize your hair. Now this is a big part of your regimen because whenever it comes down to conditioning your hair, you of course want to have super moisturized hair, but you also want your conditioner to have some extra slip in it. The slip is what's going to help you get rid of those tangles, because at the point where your hair is wet and you just got through washing it, you want to be able to use your fingers to detangle your hair, because your fingers are your best combs for your hair, especially curly hair. And so whenever you are conditioning your hair, having that extra slip is a secret weapon. So after you wash your hair, you want to condition your hair, super moisturize, and add that slip. After that, you want to use a really great leave-in conditioner, because this is a point where you can repair some split ends and seal in your cuticle, and this is really important because it helps you control frizz. Now, you don't want to have tangled hair, and you surely don't want your hair to frizz up after you've styled it. So the step that you want to emphasize is super great conditioning with slip, and then repairing your hair with a great leave-in. So after that, the next step is you want to nourish your strands and smooth out the texture. And depending on what your texture is, just how smooth it's going to get. And it can be all over the spectrum. That's not really important. It's all about the style you're trying to create and your own natural texture. And so, but you do want to lock in that moisture that you've worked hard to get. You want to lock that in, especially in humid climates. You don't want the humidity to suck all the moisture out of your hair. And how do you prevent that? You prevent that by sealing in your cuticle. So you can do that with an oil serum. And so this is a great step to protect your hair and add some extra shine as well, and which is really great for keeping your hair tangle free throughout the week. So the most important thing you want to remember is whenever you want tangle-free hair, you want to strengthen your hair continually. Always keep your hair nice and strong, and you want to continue moisturizing your hair so that your hair is just in great condition, because great conditioned, healthy hair is hair that stays tangle-free. When your hair is in bad condition, that's when the tangles start coming. And whenever you're at the beginning of your hair journey, you may have two different textures on your hair. One texture may still be relaxed, the other texture may be natural, but there's another thing that could be hurting your progress, and that could be the fact that your own head of hair has different textures on it. I know mine does, and many of my friends have multiple textures. So you may have one part of your hair that is coarser than the other part of your hair. And so what I always recommend is conditioning your hair to the point where you're emphasizing the part that is the coarsest. And that way you can't go wrong. Because a lot of times, just because your hair starts to get dry, that's when it starts tangling. And so just make sure your hair is strong, make sure your hair is healthy, make sure your hair is super moisturized, and condition your hair regularly, and always use your fingers as a comb whenever you get out of the shower, and just use great grooming throughout the week. Make sure to just comb through your hair. You know whenever you get lazy and you have a style and it can stay fresh if you really don't have to do much to it, well, don't give into that temptation, because a lot of times where my tangles have come from, they've come from me just being lazy. So I want to encourage you to hang on in there, take time for yourself, and don't let tangles discourage you. If you do get a head full of tangled hair, it's okay. Just, follow the steps that I've given you and it'll be okay.